All right, all right, all right. Happy Friday to you. Thank God it's Friday. It's coffee hour with Greg. This is Dr. Greg from Elite Traders University. So good to be with you here on this fabulous Friday. Got my coffee right here. I invite you to get your coffee as well. And we're going to uh, learn about something, a topic that I'm really passionate about sharing with you today. And I hope you're having a great day. I hope you had a great week. We had a beautiful trading week in Elite Traders University with our live VIP trading Asia session. We've been crushing the Asia session, and it's been a tremendous run for the year. But we're actually going to end it. It ends this year, for the holiday, and we won't resume that. So you had your chance to trade with Dr. Greg during Asia session, and we made thousands of dollars, um, if not millions, on my side during the Asia session. But today we're going. This is a great lesson for you. Today we're going to discover your trader type. The 15 questions that reveal your trading personality. And really, I want to talk about the 15 blocks that keep you from becoming a successful trader. Okay. And once we can move those blocks out of the way, what's going to happen is it's going to open up your trading success. You're that close to becoming a trader, especially if you've frustrated. You've been trying to do this for a really long time. Trying to trade, trying to discover the market. Discover different ways of um, of being successful in the market. And so, what I want to be able to do in this presentation is to help you become the trader that you always want to be. Okay. So, like, again, most traders fail because not because they're dumb or unlucky. They fail because they never discovered who they are when they trade. It's okay. So today, in 15 simple questions, I'm going to help you to uncover your trade personality so you can stop guessing and finally grow. Okay. So again, my name is Dr. Greg McLeod. I've been trading for over 30 years, and I work for one of the world's largest forex broker dealers on Wall Street. I was a Wall Street currency analyst, currency strategist, and trader coach. So I trained traders, high net worth traders, in order to give them the confidence and consistency to trade large size, which what the broker wanted me to help facilitate, because more trades mean more volume. So that was my job. And so now I no longer work for the brokerage, but no, I founded a school called Elite Traders University, and I help traders in within 90 days become profitable, successful traders using my proprietary pip and run forex scalping method. Okay, so I've been doing this for a while. This is not my first rodeo, and I have made many millionaires. And I actually hold the record at my brokerage of having 505 trades without a loss in a 1 year period. But before that, I helped traders who struggled, who blew up accounts, and they finally found success. But it all starts with self awareness. Okay, so in the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to discover, what your natural trader type is, your strengths, your blind spots, and why you make certain trading decisions, and how to fix your biggest weaknesses, and how to become the trader you want to be. So let's jump in, okay? So really, how do you usually react when a trade goes against you, right? This reveals your stress response. Whether it's a fight or revenge trade, a flight, you know. So if you fight, you want a revenge trade when you lose money, or you flight, you close too early, right? Just you're waiting, you're waiting. Finally, you say, "Look, it's just if I just gets back to break even, I'll just get out of the trade." And then once you get out of the trade, boom, it goes in your favor, and now you're like chasing the market again, right? It's almost like the market has your number and knows what you're doing and trading against you. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's all in our head, right? Or do you just freeze and don't do anything, right? You're like a deer in the headlights, right? And you see a deer on the highway, and it's like Oh, like, hello, I'm a car, I have headlights. Why are you still standing here? You know. But guess what? That's where the term deer freezing like a deer in headlights. And that happens when we're trading, right? It could be analysis paralysis where we're paralyzed and we know what to do, but we just don't do it, right? So your reaction is your emotional blueprint. So how do you? You want to ask yourself, how do you feel when you're in a winning trade, right? Now you may not have had a winning trade in a long time, so you got to really dig back in the archives and figure out, how do you feel when you're in a winning trade, right? Um, so do you let it run, right? Do you, or do you like panic and close early, right? Do you panic and do you close early? And that sometimes can be the operative problem there. And I'm gonna turn my chat on so in case you want to say something on the chat, typing in. Okay. Um, or do you move your stop too soon, right? Right? You want to like, you've heard the pundits, you heard what they said. You said, "Oh, move your stop to break even," and you move your stop to break even, and you're not letting it breathe, right? You're not letting it. You're moving your stop up too soon. But this shows your confidence level and ability um, to follow a plan, right? So what best describes your risk tolerance, right? That's another question that you can ask yourself. Is it low? Is it medium? Or is it high? Right? So risk tolerance comfortable is not equal to bravery, right? Your risk tolerance equals comfort level and not bravery, right? You don't want to like throw yourself on top of a hand grenade, right? You don't want to like jump out there and take a really big risk, right? You have to be able to ascertain, is this serious? Do I really want to take this trade? What are the odds? Does it look easy? There are different. Are you categorizing your trades? Are you being selective with your trades? Are you able to identify an A plus setup from a B plus setup, from a C, from a D, from an F, right? Especially an FAFO setup, right? So all Fs, right? Right. Let me just try this, and then boom, you lose, right? So you want to be able to be selective. Not all trades are created equal, and but do you have that ability to do that to figure out which ones, right? Sometimes you're stopped out because hey, it's just isolated market volatility, right? It could be you're a little too early. It could be me a little too late. Um, but sometimes it's just not your fault. And sometimes it is your fault. You're trading against the trend. You don't have a plan. You reacted, and then you get stopped out because of something stupid, right? And so you want to not beat yourself up for any of it, but especially for the ones that are just, hey, it's just the market. It's not you, right? It's the market, right? Or it's your timing. But if you're not able to look at each loss and love your losses and being able to actually learn from them, don't even call them losses. They're really learning opportunities, right? Now, the key is though, each learning opportunity is like tuition. And if you don't have a budget for a big tuition, it's best to take a shortcut. And I'll show you at the end how to take that shortcut, take those losses and invest them in yourself and shorten your learning curve, right? But the next question you want to ask, question four, is how long do you prefer to hold trades? Are you a scalper? Are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? Are you a position trader? Your time preference is part of your natural rhythm, right? You may love scalping, right? But you may not have the focus and concentration to sit in front of the computer focused at it for 2 hours or 3 hours at a time because you've got dogs, you've got a wife, you got kids, you've got the phone is ringing, you're playing Royal Kingdom, you're doing all these things, you're very distracted, you have other things going on. So even though you may want to be a scalper, it may not be in your natural rhythm, right? Or you may be a day trader, but you're highly anxious and you constantly check your phone every all the time. Well, then maybe day trading is not for you. Maybe being a swing trader, if you are someone who's very distracted and have lots of things going on, placing a swing trade for 3 or 4 days and then looking at it later, that may be your, so you want to determine what your natural rhythm is. You want your trading to fit around your lifestyle and not your lifestyle around your trading, right? You don't necessarily want to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, trading the London session when you have a wife and kids, because you're going to make your kids into Forex orphans and make your wife into a Forex widow, right? So again, how long do you prefer to hold trades? But really, seriously, how can you trade around the hours that you have, right? You want to run your trading like a business and have opening and closing hours. My hours are from 7 to 9 and I'm done, right? So 2 hours during Asia session, and that's East Coast time, and that way I can sleep in and I can sleep, and I can go to sleep early, right? All right. Question 5 is, how do you make your trading decisions? Are you going to use charts? Are do you look at technical analysis? Do you look at indicators? Or are you a price action trader? Do you like looking just at price? Are you using news? Are you using just a gut feeling? I see a bullish engulfing candle and I'm jumping in, right? Uh, you know, so this reveals whether you're an analytical, reactive, visual, or emotional. Okay. So how are you making your trading decisions? Now, question 6 you want to ask now, how often do you change your strategies? If the answer is often, well, we found your real problem. This signals fear, impatience, or lack of trust, right? You don't want to you might have what we call shiny object syndrome when you're actually every time something new comes in your email box or something pops up in your YouTube feed, you're constantly watching it. I have a friend. He's online and he's trading, but he's always popping some new YouTube video that he has found that opens a door for him or something. And I don't look at it because I have a really great system. I'm consistently profitable. I don't need old dogs can't learn new tricks, but the Pip and Run system is a system I've been using for over 20 years and has made hundreds of millions of dollars for my students around the world over this period of time, both at the brokerage and both in my private practice. So I don't need anything else. I look at for like maybe marketing, whatever or not, but I can tell what's popular now. They'll put like supply and demand zones or Fibonacci's or something. That's the wave. That's the YouTube analytical bot or whatever, the algorithm starts pushing out those videos, and that becomes the flavor of the week, right? So, but if you're following that flavor of the week, my mentor was Mark Douglas, and Mark Douglas was the author of the Disciplined Trader, Trading in the Zone, and one of the foremost authorities of the mental game of trading. And he was my mentor and my teacher, and he focused me into like, Greg, you got to stick, create a system, test it, prove to yourself it works, follow all the rules, and let the system be pull the trigger. You're the trigger, the system pulls you, right? Don't try to second guess your system. And that piece of advice from Mark Douglas that's what's crafted my system that I have now, that's been working for like close to 20 years now, over 20 years. So finding one thing and sticking with it is probably something you want to look at, whether it's Pip and Run or something else, ICT, blah, 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 whatever it is out there, stick with it if it works. Now, if it doesn't work, the great thing about Pip and Run is it's proprietary, which means I'm the one that invented it. I didn't get it from somebody else, and no one else teaches it, and I don't reveal everything online, because what happens if a system, once it gets online and everyone starts using it, becomes a flavor of the week, it starts to lose its effectiveness. It starts to lose its edge, Remember, your trading edge is like your secret sauce. It's what gives you the exploits some type of weakness or inefficiency or anomaly in the market. And if everyone knows how to do it, it no longer is special. It's no longer um, uh, different. And now you've got the law of averages working against you because the average trader loses, guys. 90% of all traders lose, right? Why? Because 90% are using the same generic systems out there. So if 10% of people are making the money, 10% are using things that you don't know about. And that's why I have my students sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, a contract to keep my system, the Pip and Run system, from going out there and being diluted by the masses, right? So it seems like, oh, Greg is a gatekeeper, blah blah blah. But you know what? The markets, the financial markets, are not kumbaya. They're not Salvation Army. They don't owe you anything. They don't care what you need. They don't care about your little group. They don't care about your popularity, right? In fact, if everyone goes on one side of the trade, it usually goes against you. So if you use that not that logic that if 90% of people lose, if 90% of people using about the same stuff, that the only thing that's going to help you win is to have something different. And that either comes from you creating something yourself, like Mark Douglas helped me to create Pip and Run, right? But I invested like over $7,000 working with him. Or you can use someone who is a gatekeeper of their system and does not allow it to go public, right? Which allows that. Like if you find someone that's some mystery trader, I mean, I know a guy from UBS who has a powerful system. He took $2,000 to $5 million. Okay. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. He ain't telling nobody nothing about, in fact, when he was pushing doing his thing at the brokerage, we watched, and then we were banned from watching him because he wanted his system private. Okay, so there's people out there, right? And if you find someone like that, that's the person you want to pay, invest, and work with, because if they've got something that they're not telling anybody on the internet for free on Instagram and YouTube, that person has something that works, especially if they can show you documentation that it works, right? And you might say, well, they don't share, and that's not all right, blah, 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 blah. If he shared, it wouldn't work anymore, okay? So just understand that your edge is your unique value proposition to the market, which sets you apart from the masses. And that's the only way you can win. And one of my friends, in fact, when I have lunch with him later on, Rocky Raccoon, he says that, he talked about the medallion fund and Jim Simmons and how his system is completely private. And he doesn't take any new clients. He manages $10 billion and he looks for anomalies. You'll see his YouTube videos. They'll tell you, oh, yeah, we have the medallion fund. It's the most successful fund in the history of mankind, right? Its averages like 60% or something, or 80% compounded. Uh, but guess what? You're not going to learn it, and he's not going to teach you, and you can't invest in it, right? And the reason why it keeps working year after year for the past 30 years is because loose lips sink ships. Okay. So again, two ways of doing this. You find someone that has something that no one else has or very few people have, or you discover something on your own that you codify that is uniquely to you. And God can give you inspiration just like he gave me, just like he gave Jim Simmons. God can speak to you. But if you're just going around with average stuff, you're going to be spending a lot of time spinning your wheels. Okay. All right, got a little tangent there, but question 7 is, how comfortable are you with waiting? Some traders can wait like a crocodile, and others tap their foot like they're waiting for Uber Eats. Patience is a trader's superpower. Okay. Now, I don't like waiting that long because I'm on a 15-second chart or a tick chart, 20 tick chart. And so me waiting is like 5 minutes, right? Um, but if you are a swing trader, position trader, or a day trader, you might have to wait hours for your setup, right? So waiting is a superpower, but again, it depends on the strategy and the system that you're using. With the pip and run system, we wait, but we're not waiting for hours. We're waiting. I mean, if we wait 5 minutes, it's like, really, it's taking too long. Um, but if you look at my YouTube videos and you see some video, you'll see some of my trades. Okay, now question 8: how do you feel about your stop losses? Right now, stop losses. I hate losing. I don't like losing. I really don't like Gordon Gekko says in Wall Street. Nothing f's up my day more than losses, right? And in fact, I had one loss last night, and I think I almost flipped out. My students had to had to settle me down. They're like, Greg, it's only one loss. I'm like, yeah, but I was going for a perfect week, right? But so I'm wired a little weird, right? Um, but let me show you. Yeah, look if you can see it. So I this is December 4th, and I thought I closed a trade in positive and it switched negative. The market just flipped really fast. It went from I was up positive 1500 and then like negative 2200, right? And you're probably saying, "Oh, poor baby," right? You have no pity on me with my one loss trade, right? Because why my system is a little out there as far as expectations. So my expectations are a little higher than most. And but um, but when I do get a loss, and when I took that loss, I knew that I was in the wrong direction. So once I found out I was going the wrong direction, guess what? I flipped it and just took trades in that direction, right? So the loss, even though I didn't like it, even though it made kind of wake me out a little bit, but I learned from it. I looked at it as a lesson and not as a personal attack. Sometimes we look at our wins and our losses in a way which makes us, we look at our personal, we derive our value from how we trade. And remember, you are not your trading. You are not your body. You are spirit having a human experience. So you are not your losses. You are not your wins either, even though they feel great. But really, you want to be at that even keel where you don't hate them, you don't love them. You want to embrace them and say, "Wow, that's a lesson to learn. Okay, that's interesting. That's fascinating." So your emotional relationship with stops equals your relationship with risk. Question 9, you want to ask yourself now: what motivates you most to trade? Is it freedom? Is it money? Is it status? Is it challenge? Knowing your why determines how long you can last in this game, right? And it goes back to your core values. If my core values are freedom, stability, security, and philanthropy, being able to give. I was thinking of the hard word, right? To give, no, being able to give, right? And being able to be abundant, where I can go out to dinner and I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to get all nervous whether my bank account's going to bounce or something like that. And so I being abundant and being free is what motivates me, right? And so setting your priorities is very important too. My priority is God first, right? Because we want to serve. You can't serve God and Mammon. So, and Mammon is the name of the god of money, right? But God first, right? Then myself, right? And then my family, right? And then other people around me, friends, relationships, outer family, right? Right, in-laws and outlaws, right? Yeah, but you have to have an order, a priority, and that in your that what keeps you fixed. Because if trading becomes your god, becomes your idol, you're gonna fail at this, right? And if your kids become your idol, your wife becomes your idol, that's gonna fail too, right? Putting all that pressure on any one thing, right? So you want to be able to prioritize, and then you want to put your job in there too. You really, until you are a professional trader, you want to put your job or your work, whatever you are doing to gain money, to pay, to fund your account, to pay your light bill and do other things. A lot of people, well, I hate my job, and I hate my boss, and I hate. Hey, if you got all that negative stuff about your job and about who you're working for, well, then if you're not faithful with little, you're not going to be given much. Okay. King David, before he was king, he was watching over someone else's sheep, right? So when you're watching over another man's stuff and you're able to take care of it, if you're faithful with little, you'll be given much, right? So if you go with your job with yeah, you don't want, maybe drive Uber forever, or, DoorDash, or whatever you're doing, or, be a barista at Starbucks. I'm not saying that anything wrong with any of those jobs, but I'm saying if you do them as unto the Lord, well, then what will happen is he'll reward you in your trading, right? Because you have a positive mindset, you have a positive energy, and when you embrace things with a positive tone, well, then it trickles down your trades. Your trades become very good. I loved working at the brokerage, and I loved helping people trade. I loved making the money for helping them make money. And just really, it was a very big joy there. Though at the brokerage, it was the most inhumane place where they just tell you anything you if you don't do it, you'll be fired. Like doing webinars. If you don't do this webinar, you'll be fired. It's like, but I don't want to talk in front of people. You'll be fired. Well, I don't want to call on the phone. You'll be fired. It was always that. But it's kind of like, yeah, they'll fire you, but if you did what you're supposed to do, it was fine, right? But I always had a positive all the way up to the very end. I was very positive about working there. Um, and so it just manifested where I'm able to help more people the way I want to, that's in line of my integrity, because I was faithful with what was people looked at as a raw deal. It turned out to be very positive. Okay. Question 10. How would you describe your discipline level? And be honest, your discipline determines whether you trade or gamble, right? Do you follow your rules? Do you have a trading plan, right? And then question 11, how do you handle losing streaks? Do you shrink? Do you push harder? Do you crawl into a corner of your house in fetal position, suck your thumb, and cry like a baby? Do you stop completely? This tells about your resilience. Question 12, how do you manage emotions during your trading? Are you calm? Are you anxious? Are you confident? Or are you overthinking, right? If you watch some of my live stream videos, you would think that it's just a party. I call it the pit party. Why? Because we know what's going to happen next, and then we can forecast things within like minutes. So it's like becomes a very fun game if you have the right system and you're able to do it right. Being calm, anxious, and confident, you got to take control of your own emotions no matter where you are. Even if you have a losing system, you have to be able to overcome the emotions, right? And be calm no matter what, right? And that's very difficult to do because we're roller coasters. We're winning, we're happy, we're sad, but you have to get that even keel, like that pilot on the airplane that's going through turbulence. Okay, we're at 30,000 feet and we're having a little turbulence. Make sure that you have your trade in the upper position and your safety belts put on, and then safety belt sign is on, and there's no walking about the cabin, right? We'll go through this. And he's very calm, right? You wouldn't want a pilot go, oh my God, the plane is going crazy, and I don't know, we're all gonna die, right? So you have to have that airplane pilot type uh, uh, of attitude when you're in your trading, right? Um, Question 13: how well do you follow a plan? Now, a trading plan is a safety belt, it's a seat belt, and some people love seat belts, and some people hate seat belts. So where do you land? You want to know how do you feel about a plan? And a lot of people kind of like go willy nilly, like I don't like organizing. I don't want to feel restricted. Well, guess what? The market's got your number. sees you coming, right? If you want to be a cowboy flying by the seat of your pants. Question 14, do you prefer clear rules or freedom? Right? So rules, you're a mechanical trader. Freedom, you're a discretionary trader. Both, you can hybrid, you can have rules and freedom, right? Um, and freedom as a discretionary trader just means that you're not free to do whatever you want. You have your rules of what you're looking for, which allows you to have control versus a computer, a mechanical trader, where you have a set of rules. And I've got developers who've been working on Pip and Run for 3 years, trying to code what's in here. We're almost there. Let's say we start before AI, and it's been a big journey, for the last 3 years. So if you are in control of your emotions, discretionary trader might be your kick. But if you really, your frontal cortex is lining up, and you're constantly filled with fear, but you like trading and you understand the rules, you just can't execute, then you might want to look for some type of a computerized solution or auto trading or AI bot or something that that is able to follow your rules, that's not subject to your emotions, right? Question 15. How confident are you in your trading skills? Now, low confidence, you're hesitating, right? If you're hesitating and missing trades, you have low confidence. High confidence, you're over trading. Maybe you're trading too much. And the key is being balanced confidence. You have consistent progress. You're taking trades, and you know when to stop, right? You know when to stop. You know when you stop when you make a lot of money. Like we have, certain thresholds where I say, hey, if you make 10% in one day, you might want to stop, right? As well as, hey, if you lose like 5, 6% in one day, you need to stop too. So not just a stop on your why, because and then people say, why? No, if you have a hot hand, right? That's gambling, right? You got the hot hand. Why don't you keep going? Well, the problem is that the human secretes all kinds of endorphins and oxytocins, all kinds of hormones, feel good hormones, which are really like crack, almost like a drug. And so you've heard of a DUI, right? A DUI, when you drink alcohol, impairs your judgment. Well, there's something I call TUI, or trading under the influence. When you have a bunch of wins, you got all kinds of endorphins flowing through, feel good hormones, and then you lose judgment, you get a feeling of invincibility, and you start doing stupid things, and all the money that you made, you wind up giving back because all of a sudden you're flying upside down, you don't know which way is up, and it impairs your judgment. And let me know out there in the chat box if you've gone through that, where you have gone into euphoria and then ended up broke and actually lost more money than you've actually made, right? And that's a confidence destroyer. And the amount, you're in a hot hand, is it worth that extra trade? Is it worth that extra trade in order to because if you lose everything that you've made and what you didn't have, right? And then lose confidence. That's the worst feeling. The worst feeling is not just losing. If you lose, you lose, okay? But if you have made money and then you immediately lose it, it crushes your confidence, right? And so your confidence is your gold, is your treasure. Being able to believe in yourself, that's what keeps you going as a trader, right? Your money and your confidence. And if you lose your money and you lose your confidence, right? Because you lose more money than you actually you lose the gains that you had previously. That's more that's an asymmetrical risk, right? So that's why it's good that, hey, quit while you're ahead, right? Get your Super Bowl ring, Don't keep, and that's what you'll see. You'll see people, you'll see athletes do that they'll be at the top of their game and they'll continue the next year. And then they wind up losing their touch and throwing interceptions or not making baskets and now they're hopefully either addicted to their previous success or they're just in debt and they have like all kinds of bills to pay. But in either event, it's best to quit at the top of your game. So putting it all together, these 15 questions reveal your emotional style, your risk style, your decision style, your discipline level, and your training time preference and your confidence level. Together, these form your trader type, right? And then most traders fall into one or four groups, right? Where you get the sniper, precise, patient, discipline, two, the momentum hunter, fast, aggressive, intuitive, the analyst, calculated, logical, and cautious, the pattern seeker, visual, creative, rhythmic, and which one are you, right? That's those the core, those four core trading types. And why this matters: when your personality matches your trading style, you're going to get fewer false starts. You stop system hopping. You trade with calm confidence. Your entries improve, and your stress goes down, and your consistency increases. So self-awareness equals profit awareness. So taking that time to know yourself allows you to open up all kinds of doors, breaking down those blocks and enabling you to get the success that's been eluding you for many months and many years, right? But each trader has weaknesses. They have these common blind spots. The sniper is overweighting. The momentum hunters are overtrading. The analysts have paralysis, and the pattern seekers, they have loose rules. And the awareness fixes those. So your trading roadmap, with your trader type, you can now choose a system that fits you, trade your strengths, patch your weaknesses, grow faster with less frustration. And this is how my top students succeed, right? So you can't win if you're fighting yourself, right? Yourself, the between your ears is the biggest problem. You can learn all the stochastics and CCI and trend lines and multiple time frames, but that's like 10% of the ball game. The 90% is you. You look in the mirror and that's the enemy or the friend, right? So when you align your personality with your trading style, everything clicks, and this is why most traders fail. So your next step, is to take the full trader type quiz, the trader block quiz, for your personalized report. And this way you can determine. I'm going to give you that because you've been on the call for this time, and hopefully it's been beneficial and helpful to you to hold a mirror up to yourself so you can see yourself and analyze yourself. Right? I see a hand raised. Thank you. And so what you want to do is I'm going to give you the link to our quiz there, and then what you'll be able to do with this quiz is to get a customized score, right? You're gonna get this customized score, and it'll give you a detailed trading roadmap, your personality strengths, your emotional triggers, and a clear next step roadmap to improve. It's absolutely free. Takes about 3 minutes to do. And I can go ahead and give you that link if you're interested, or you can look in the bottom of the description if you'd like to get access to that. I'm gonna pop it here in the chat here in the Zoom right there, and I'll also put it in here in the I'll also put it in the community section of our for the trading quiz, right? So again, it takes about 3 minutes, and it's a clear next step to improve. Now, why I created this, after teaching tens of thousands of traders, literally from 2006, I was instructing traders all up until now. So that's like over almost 20 years. I realized skill alone doesn't create success. Okay. Self awareness does. And this quiz is your shortcut. Trading becomes easier when you understand who you are, how you react, what your natural style is. And this is the foundation of consistency, right? So, again, you can go to the, in fact, let me go ahead and I'll pop the link here in the Elite Traders group here, and then you can take the quiz, right? Copy link address, and I'll pop it in there too. Take the trading block quiz. Okay, I'll go ahead and pop that in there, and I'll post that, and that's going to be in their announcements. Okay, post. All right. So you've got that there. Okay. So I want to thank you so much for spending time with me. Uh, uh, and I believe in you. I believe in your future. Let's build your trader confidence together, right? And also, when you finish the quiz, they'll send you a report and show you how you can contact or work with me if you so choose. Okay. Again, my name is Dr. Greg McLeod from Elite Traders University. Peace and pips. Have a great